The new Cherokee Overland is almost $50,000. We'll find out if it's worth it today. I'll include a link to the Doug Smith Jeep's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this Cherokee. Let's get right into it. Under the hood is a turbo 1.6 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an ECVT. Fuel economy is 39 around town, 35 on the highway, with power outputs being 210 horsepower and then 230 pound-feet of torque. If you're looking for more straight-to-the-point reviews like this, make sure you subscribe. Now, the design is definitely distinctly Jeep, even though this is a weird new hybrid. Of course, you got the Jeep badge. You can see the headlights. Really cool what they did with the daytime running lights, I think. And then you've got the 7-slot grille. This Overland package also has fog lights, too. Tire wheel setup is 235 by 50 by 20. You've got silver with the metallic gray and like the fender flares. Got the Cherokee badge there. You can see the mirror caps are blacked out. Same thing with the roof. I am surprised they didn't paint all that cladding for the Overland package. You would have thought, especially the price point. Jeep logo on the back of the key fob. On the front face, we have our lock and unlock remote start opening for the hatch too. Now the seats still fold down flat. You do have to grab the latch that's there at the top of the seat to do that. We have a 12 volt here in the back. This actually already has a mat for the cover back here. But if we go and lift this, I didn't grab the strap properly. There we go. Got a spare tire underneath, which is good. This is to close the hatch. And as that's closing again, you'll see tons of space. This is one big benefit of the new Cherokee. It's a big vehicle. Very boxy with the taillight design. You can see Overland badge there. You got the Jeep badge in the center 4x4 on the one side. That will cap things off for the exterior of this Overland. Let's now take a look at the interior. And just regular windows. This is nice. It's plastic, but it's kind of like a, I don't know, better feeling plastic. But yeah, actual soft touch is down below. The seats are perforated all down the center portion here. Foot space is pretty good. We've got some vents in the back, heated seats, USB ports, a full outlet, got a little storage pocket, panoramic sunroof in this, and again the box design means pretty good headroom. Let's now take a look at the front. Blind spot mounting with the mirrors, again just regular glass up front. Now the front is actually soft touch, unlike the back that's just plastic. But anyways, more soft touch. Front two windows are automatic, got your mirror adjustments. This also has memory seats. And then the seats are perforated all down the center. You got power adjustments with lumbar support. And look at that, the front passenger also has all of that. To the left of the steering wheel, you got all your light controls. You got a little popper for the hood, and then now the steering wheel is very squared off, which I think is kind of cool. Radio controls in the back. On the front face, you got stuff like the adaptive cruise control with lanes centering and actual steers for you. And that is for the center screen. Full digital, which means you can change the information in this display. It's very customizable. It's one thing that is kind of nice about these modern cars. And then you have like the slide to the side to change the information that it is actually displayed. Now this comes with a 360 camera system. Good resolution, lots of different viewpoints. This infotainment system is not perfect. You can see there's a little bit of, that's a lot of lag. Holy guacamole. You do have heated ventilated seat controls built into the screen. You've got your dual zone climate. You also have shortcuts for the seats on the sides of the screen, and then volume and tuner buttons on the sides too. We've got physical buttons for the climate below on this kind of, well, it's physical-ish. It's like a haptic feedback tab. Got some USB ports, more actual physical buttons, I guess, for like the parking assist and everything. And then this is our little storage. Cup holders here. You've got the engine stop start, dial shifter, put it into gear, drive mode, select with this. We've got auto hold, hill descent, phone charging pad, good storage, 12 volt. I do like the trim here on the top of this. We also have some nice trim on the dash there. Camera rear view mirror with this, and then like I said, panoramic center. 2026 Cherokee Overland, $47,875. Let's take this out and see how it performs. Let's set off in the Overland. 360 camera's kind of nice, right? Powertrain feels kind of choppy. All this electronic stuff is just, you know what it feels like to me, all the electronic stuff? False advertising, in a way. Here's what I mean. So this is what I constantly hear from, you know, the big heads at the automakers and other journalists. Electronics are more simplistic than mechanical. Because there's less moving parts. Right? That's the argument. That's the argument. But then with the electronic stuff, yeah, you might have fewer moving parts, but then you got to have a computer control everything. And that's just like the complexity that can happen with the software, right? It's like, at least with a mechanical thing, If something goes haywire, something goes wrong, you can physically see. But you know, with an electronic item, sometimes you can see, most of the time you can't. You gotta plug into a computer and then you gotta try to figure out what's going on. So, yeah, the more I review this new stuff, the more I'm like, man, let's bring back cars from 30 years ago. It seems like that was really a sweet spot, 20, 30 years ago. I think it's interesting they didn't pad this, because like for a taller person, your probably knee will hit up against that. So, imagine that's not going to be very comfortable. Not the worst thing on the planet, but yeah, at least this is nice. I'm surprised they didn't do the thicker glass. Maybe that's how they're differentiating this from the Grand Cherokee, but like, you're asking Grand Cherokee money for this one. That's the other thing that's a little bit confusing to me about the Overland version. My guess is probably the Limited will be the one that'll sell, because that one's much more reasonably priced. But yeah, the packaging in general in this new Cherokee is kind of funky. That Mazda's got racing stripes. Goodness gracious. You know, it looks kind of cool actually, but it is very dorky, even if it's got the turbo. It is very dorky. I will say I still like the smoothness of this powertrain. An ECVT with a hybrid, that's the way to go, because then you can deliver the torque smoothly from the electric side of things and then transition smoothly into the engine, especially the turbo engine, right, where you're gonna have to build a little bit of boost. I think it's nice. It's quiet too. Again, even though it doesn't have thicker glass, you know, you're still gonna have some more panel insulation, which is great. Fart can exhaust. Let's see what the acceleration's like with this thing. Here, the floor mat's flying out. See, this is the thing about CVTs that a lot of people don't understand. You just hold the throttle, right? With a car that's not a CVT, you kind of push down on the throttle and you maybe modulate a little bit, depending on what's going on. But oh, this is horrible. It is what it is. But with the CVT, you just hold. You just hold the RPMs. You don't modulate, you don't like go on throttle and then kind of pull back a little bit. You just hold the whole time. And that's kind of the best way to get the power out of an eCVT. This is probably going to be miserable, it looks like. Such is life. Still have to review one more vehicle after this too. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to get back. Probably got a bunch of line cutters. I bet a bunch of people in this line probably actually want to be over in that one, but they don't want to wait in that one. So they're sitting in this one and they're going to try to get over, and then it's just going to make things slower. Overall, I mean, I'm a fan of the new Cherokee in general. It's different for Jeep, right? It's low to the ground. It's not really an off-road vehicle. It's something new. It's a mall crawler. It's a street type vehicle. But that being said, I like it. I'm glad that Jeep offers this. I wish they didn't use the Cherokee name. Now that I've reviewed all the packages, I wish they didn't use the Cherokee name. But, you know, Chevy did the same thing with the Blazer. Ford did the same thing with the Mustang. It's like these automakers have no shame. And you know, here's what I'll say. Automakers doing this, it's like clickbait on YouTube, right? And I know I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. But like we all know, it's annoying as heck, right? So it's like when you see Cherokee, you're like, oh, this is gonna be rugged. Nope. nope. You got clickbaited. You thought the new Cherokee was gonna be something, and it's different. So, but I think hopefully in the future we'll kind of go away from that. So that's the Cherokee Overland, and I'm stuck in traffic.